There's an attempt by some in today's society and culture to squelch true manliness. The term toxic masculinity is being tossed around a lot by those who clearly do not have a correct understanding of true and proper manliness. Sadly, what's happening is a lot of young males are growing up without a clear picture of what a real man is. Much confusion around this subject does prevail. In a survey back in 1964, it was determined that the reason many men are looked at as weak-kneed, lily-livered sissies is because of American women being too domineering. The truth of the matter is this: most women aren't fighting to take control, but are compelled to take control. Husbands and fathers are not being husbands and fathers. Many women are crying out, wanting a strong man, and he's just not there. Sadly, we're seeing more and more males who are weak, spoiled, pampered, without any backbone, who are lacking physical and moral strength. Much of the demise of our country and culture stems from men who fail to accept the responsibility of leader of the home. Disgracefully, some men are even encouraging their wives to take on this responsibility. Many times, like on TV sitcoms, the husband is portrayed as a bubbling fool, offering no direction or leadership. Another thing, too many men are failing to take on the responsibilities that are required of them to be the breadwinners of the house. This is forcing women to come to the rescue. Every day, millions of mothers are forced to leave their households to assist men in providing a living. This creates a debilitating void in the home because men are not fulfilling their masculine responsibility, either by his lack of work ethic to provide adequately, or his lack of responsibility with managing his money to cover expenses. Men are failing at being men. Besides failing at home, many men are failing to measure up in society. Disturbingly, many things that we enjoy from the sacrifices and labors of generations past are on the verge of being lost forever. Even our very freedom is in jeopardy. These are very challenging times, and what we need are for real men to rise to their feet. Are there any men out there who would be willing to proclaim, "Give me liberty or give me death"? Are there men, real men, who would be willing to sacrifice time and energy to rescue a dwindling society? Consider with me for a moment 7 problems that arise in a society with a lack of manliness. 1. A man who fails to take seriously his responsibility as head of the family creates problems in his home. A lack of order is produced. An indecisive, weak father generates a dominant mother because someone has to determine policy and make decisions in order for a family to survive. Wives are many times thrust into leadership roles when husbands fail to meet urgent demands. Number 2, this default in leadership can cause real issues for a woman. A woman is not free to function as a woman if she's to be the man of the family. She's not free to be successful at her equally demanding responsibilities as a wife and as a mother. A lack of strong men can many times cause a woman to be insecure and sometimes even desperate. Number 3, a recessive father can also cause his innocent children to suffer. Children need a firm and decisive father. Without fathers that command obedience for his word, children will naturally learn disobedience. This lack of obedience towards authority is going to produce the next generation of delinquents and lawbreakers of society. The man who encourages or even expects his wife to work outside the home generates further problems in society. It's unfair to a woman that she has to divide her interest between her work and family. It's incredibly unreasonable to expect a woman to serve on 2 fronts of life. This overwhelming lifestyle can many times result in a lack of love, attention, and development of the children, as well as a failure in the marital relationship between a husband and a wife. Number 5, sexual identity confusion is another social problem caused by the lack of manliness. A father that doesn't convey a strong male persona in the home contributes to a blurring of the roles between mother and father, thereby making the distinction between male and female very obscure. Boys and girls need a definite gender image with which to identify. Without this, many times the girls will fail to grow strongly feminine and the boys strongly masculine. When men are truly men and women are women, the contrast keeps the genders attracted to one another, thereby reducing any temptation towards the perversion of homosexuality or any gender confusion. Number 6, the women's liberation movement can most certainly be attributed in part to weak men. Had there been more strong masculine men who were devoted to caring for women and children, to holding women in high regard, and showing great appreciation for their role in the home, giving wives and mothers the respect and honor that their role deserves, it's doubtful that so many women would have abandoned this position. Many women feel they are treated as second-class citizens who are being taken advantage of by an oppressive male role population. Many women want to be liberated from the traditional role of a housewife. But if more mature masculine men would have helped women to feel the incredible importance of their work, then maybe more wives and mothers would have looked at it as an opportunity for fulfillment rather than looking at it with disdain. Number 7, when a man is weak or fails to measure up in manliness, wives and children will begin to lose respect for him. This can lead to a breakdown in relationships, causing marriage and parental problems. Understand this. Pay very close attention. The challenging times that we face are requiring some real men to rise up. God-fearing men of strong minds, of kind hearts, of willing hands, of courage, of honor, strong opinions, clear minds, high goals, men who find joy in labor, men who are not afraid of great responsibility, men who are dedicated to a task and will give up their own desires and pursuits to a life of service, men whose word is their bond. Besides all this, there's got to be a balance of a gentle side. We also need men who appreciate a sunrise and a sunset, men who love their families with passion and honor, men who adore womanhood. We need men with compassion, men who are sensitive to the needs of the less fortunate, men who are tender with their wives and children, men who have an ability to love. Never forget, fulfillment does not come from recognition, from honors, from money, from security, from material goods, or even from sex. One of the greatest fulfillments of a man outside of a genuine walk with God is for him to live as God created him to be, a real man.